Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 28th of June 2021, and I was saying in another recent video that this channel really, I try and concentrate on three types of video. One is just a sort of talk, sort of a heartfelt talk to you, a bit of a pep talk, and then the next type of video I do is sort of factual news reporting with my own little take on it or slant on it. And then the third one is sort of video and resource recommendations. Well, this video is very much the last one of those. I've got a couple of recommendations and you might have seen these already, but if you haven't, I can highly recommend both of these. First of all, James Delingpole. I'm sure you've probably heard of him, and he does this podcast called the Delin Pod, and his latest one, I think it's done on the 20th of June, is an interview with Rachel Elnor, who she used to be one of the dragons in Dragon's Den, the original woman on that, but she's moved kind of really away from the business world, and she seems to be a lot more spiritual and a lot more kind of into, well, you know, sort of trying to help people in our situation, giving us support, and really, you know, trying to sort of work out some sort of ways out of this fix that we're in. So she gives an excellent interview with James Delingpole. It gets pretty dark at times. She seems very convinced that we are in for very, very rough winter indeed coming up. And although she does give some sort of tips and hints and tips, if you like, as to how you can mitigate that. And quite interesting, in this video she was talking about how basically what's going on, you can kind of compare it in the business world to a hostile takeover. You know, a company undergoes a hostile takeover, and the first thing they do is they trim the fat, to put it kind of very horribly and dispassionately, and you know, they sort of take out everything that they don't really want and sort of just create a lean, mean machine that's ready to make them lots and lots of money. And that's very much how, you know, she's saying it's very much how these people want the world to be. And obviously not a great future, but an alternative that she said is, you know, how wonderful that the world would be that instead of that it was actually run as a family's run. You know, everybody gets looked after in the family. You know, if you're sick, you get looked after. You get 3 meals a day, and you get love and support. And just how fantastic would it be if the world was run like that? It'd be superb. So it's in some ways it's a dark interview, and in other ways it's an uplifting one. Now, the second recommendation, and she was saying about the necessity of prepping, and everybody I'm looking at now is going on about prepping, really, and how rough things are going to get. So I have started prepping anyway, but not nearly to the extent that I should have done, to be totally honest with you. And I know a lot of people watching this video and watch this channel are way ahead of me on this, and I am going to sort of be making steps in the coming days and weeks to really sort of get things a lot further down the road on that sort of score than I am already. As I say, I have made a bit of a a start. I have got kind of one of these sort of 3-month sort of dried food supplies, and well, it'd be 6 weeks because obviously I'd be sharing it with my wife Lorraine, but so that's really and a few other bits and bobs, but that's really the extent, and it needs to get a lot more in depth than that. But you know, you need to do a little and often, I think. So I'm going to be starting this week, and little and often during the rest of the weeks of the summer. And a really good resource is, now he's been off this platform for 2 weeks. Like me, he's been on the naughty step, but he got a 2-week suspension. Now, he's called Lee, and his channel's Veritas Vincit. Now, you may well have heard of him, and I know a lot of his subscribers watch me as well, and a lot of you, though, probably haven't heard of him, and I can highly recommend his channel. And if you like me and the way I'm just sort of talking here, just sort of heart to heart with you, he's kind of very much like that as well. And as far as I'm concerned, he kind of does it better than I do, really. Well, I think so anyway. So if you like me, you'll definitely like Lee, and I can highly recommend his channel. But a video that he did yesterday, I think it was, is called Light Preparations. I'll try and leave a link to it in the comments and in the description box below. But he talks about what he's done as far as prepping is concerned, and actually sort of shows you the supplies he's got, which is enough to kind of keep him alive for a good few months. And you know, should sort of things get unpleasant, but from what he's kind of said in the past, I think he lives in a kind of a pretty small flat, and he had all this stuff kind of just laid out on his bed, so it obviously doesn't have to take up too much room. And you know, it's just laid out on his bed, and it didn't look like it's piled too high. So once you've got it, you know, I thought once he's got it kind of back in a few boxes, it'd probably just go in a smallish cupboard quite nicely, and it's enough food to keep you alive for you know, a good while, should sort of, you know, things hit the fan. So check that out. He kind of goes into what's in the kit that he's assembled, where he's got it from, how long it's kind of taken him to get it together. And it's not sort of, you know, real serious prepping stuff, but if you're new to it, or fairly new like I am, it's just a few bits that you can be buying in the next sort of few weeks to kind of just at least get you to that sort of stage where you stand a good fighting chance if things get serious. And as soon as you've got that together, if you've got the space in the room and the inclination, you can sort of then start using that as a base to grow out from, until, you know, you've gone as far down the prepping road as you want to. So it's a good place to start. I'm actually going to be re-watching that video myself a couple of times with like a pen and paper, just to make a kind of a shopping list. So what I'll do is I'll leave that link below, and when you get to it, you know, subscribe to his channel, Lee's channel, Veritas Vincit. Can highly recommend it. So I think I'll leave it there. Be back either later on today with another video, or tomorrow. Tim from Fair Play Now. Thanks for watching.